We're Laura and Cindy, and you're listening to the Holistic Horsemanship and Husbandry podcast, where we talk about natural horsekeeping and deepening your connection with your horse. I'm Laura, your horse care mentor. I teach natural horse management practices after working with over 200 horses and seeing how current industry standards are compromising the health of the horse.
And I'm Cindy, your horsemanship mentor, offering a proven and unique approach to creating deep connections with your horses from 20 plus years of experience, including working with wild Mustangs. If you enjoy this conversation, please leave us a 5-star review wherever you're listening to us so we can get this podcast into the ears of more passionate horse people.
All right, so we are sitting here in Cindy's living room on her new ranch overlooking her beautiful pastures. And this morning when I got here, we trimmed 4 of her horses. And when we were done, I was like, man, Cindy, it's really nice to have someone who's truly handling their horses while I'm trimming them and knows what to do and is engaged in the process. And the more we kind of talked about that, the more I realized I could probably be, as the trimmer, coaching people more in what they can be doing. Because I think some people want to help, want to do better, and just don't necessarily know what that looks like. So in this episode, we're going to kind of talk through what does it mean to not only prepare your horse to have someone come work on their feet, but also how you can be effective during the trim.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a farrier, but I'm a horsemanship trainer, and I have my horses. And the way that I was looking at it as we were talking about it is, we teach our dogs to be good citizens, and that's so that they can enjoy being out and about with others. And we teach our kids how to be good citizens so that they enjoy being out and about and people enjoy them. But so many people don't prepare their horses to be good citizens for the veterinarian or for the farrier. And like Laura said, many don't know. And as a horsemanship mentor and a horse trainer, I think that because I've been around horses all my life and I've been, on this journey of being the best I could be for horses for 26 years and a trainer and a teacher for 8 years, that there's a lot of assumptions made.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, it just, even before I started those 2 things I just mentioned, but I was just a horse owner. I always, never, ever wanted the farrier to come out and work on my horses or the vet without me being there. I want to know what's happening to my horse. You hear all the nightmares. And I wanted my horse to be the best that he could be for the farrier, because I don't know how many of us actually realize that being a farrier is an extremely dangerous job. In many ways, it's more dangerous than being a trainer or a veterinarian. I don't know about the veterinarian. I think those go hand in hand. They might be equal, but maybe not, because the vet's not always putting their head underneath your horse's belly where they're in the strike zone. They can be hit from the front leg. They can be kicked from the back leg. They wrap their freaking leg around the horse's leg. The horse can, in a less than 10 seconds, pull them off their feet and slam them on the ground and stomp the shit out of them. It's a serious job. So I think it's extremely important that we think about that. And the only reason that horses are going to behave that way is because they're scared.
Mm-hmm.
They're not confident. nobody's worked with them and their emotional fitness. They don't know how to stand still. They're not comfortable standing still. So it's up to us to help them. How do we help them? Well, when Laura was trimming my horses today, I don't have a whole lot of rules. The first rule is you stand where I put you. The second rule is you give your foot when you're asked. The third rule is you don't take it away rudely. And the fourth rule is you never kick. Otherwise, they're free to express their way in whatever they need to express themselves. And I have rules for myself. I cannot be on my phone. Now, I fudged that today because I took some pictures of Laura,
Oh, thanks.
but I only did it with the horses I knew that were handling their responsibilities. So maybe they're not rules, maybe they're responsibilities.
Yeah.
The other responsibility I have is to be mindful of what the farrier is doing at all times. And how can I help rather than impede? So if my farrier is got the horse's leg up and underneath, wrapped around their leg, or sitting on their leg, on their thigh, or in the stand. No, not the stand. They've got their leg up. My horse is not allowed to turn around and start playing with the farrier's butt and gear and things like that, because I have seen horses bite and I have seen horses pick farriers up by their leather chaps. They're not allowed to drive their head down to the ground and eat because that shifts all their weight onto the farrier. If my horse is struggling mentally or emotionally, or something in the environment has got their attention, I will ask my farrier, please stop. I need to have a conversation with my horse. Or please stop. There's something going on over there, because I don't want my farrier to be underneath my horse when they're worried or bothered.
I think there's a concern on the client end that if they ask us to stop, that we're gonna get upset that they're taking too long or wasting time or something. Because I had the same thought about like the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really don't want you on your phone. And but if you get an important call and you need to step away and take the call, I'd way rather you say, "Hey, can we just take a break for a minute? I need to take this phone call," than try to take the phone call and handle the horse and me being like, "Great, I'm gonna get slammed."
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the I need a minute. I would way rather you take a minute, do what you need to do to refocus your horse, and to keep just plowing through with a miserable horse that isn't paying attention. I am delighted when someone asks to take a break, never ever offended.
I have a few horses. I've learned that one was because her injuries as a baby were now setting in arthritis, and she was actually uncomfortable. And I thought she was just being a pistol, but it turns out that she was genuinely uncomfortable and trying to tell us that. But when I have a horse, for whatever reason, that does not want to stand still, the farrier puts the foot down to grab a new tool, to get their stand, to look at the hoof, to do whatever, get a drink, and they go to pick up the hoof and the horse moves. I will ask the farrier to please stop and step back to where they originally were. Laura and I did this several times today. And I will make my horse move his feet. And I don't know if Laura noticed that I tried to move my feet as little as possible. I want the horse to recognize the consequence for the choice that he made. He's going to work harder than any of us. And I put them exactly right back where they were, so that they're standing in front of Laura with her tools and her stand. And she commented on how much she really appreciated that. But I also caught her several times with one that kept wanting. I have one that has PTSD and he kept moving away. And she willingly just picks up her stuff and moves towards him. And I
I
said,
don't even think about it. I just like, oh, I'll stay with you.
yep,
Yep.
she's
Yep.
doing what she needs calmly, no judgment, no energy, no negativity. She's just moving with the horse. And I said, please stop doing that. My horses need to know that when I ask them to stand here, that is their job until we're done, and then they can move and do whatever they want. She really appreciated that.
Mhm.
It's our job to do these things with our horses before the farrier ever gets here. She said, how do your horses pick up their feet? I said, all my horses are trained to up. So you grab a hold of that right behind
They're
what
fetlock.
their fetlock,
Mhm.
and you just kind of tickle and you say up, and they all know to give their feet. Some of them, my gypsy banner gave her a hard time today. She had to kind of pull and put pressure, but he still knows, and she was able to get it done. So it's because I did the preparation before the farrier ever gets there. When I'm picking up my horse's hoof, I'm thinking about my farrier. When I'm putting it down, I'm thinking about my farrier. When I'm asking my horse to stand still, I want them to stand still for a number of reasons, but it's stuff you have to practice before they get there. Otherwise, they're not there to train your horse. They're not there to put their life on the line for your horse. It's not their responsibility, guys, to go catch your horse and ferry your horse when you're not there. I'm sorry. Figure it out. Get a buddy. That's just my perspective. Some farriers don't mind. What's your thoughts on that?
I've got some really big herds that I'll do it for. Little known industry fact. If you have a big herd, you're always getting a discount and you're always getting a little more leeway because we don't have to get in the car and go somewhere else. Um, so, within that big herd is also supported by a big barn community. So I have specific horses in that herd where I need a handler for, but it's not always the owner. Sometimes it's the owner's friend who I also trim their horse, and maybe that owner is holding their friend's horse. Like it's a community of people, and that works out well. I've also got horses that are really great. And if once a year you need me to trim your horse because you have something that came up that day and your horse is so well behaved and it's so easy, I would rather just go trim your horse alone. If your horse is really good, then mess up my whole week by rescheduling.
Gotcha.
But if your horse is even an intermediate level trim or an advanced trim, I want you there and handling. Yeah. And I've had to get stronger on those boundaries because I spent a year saying I'll get under anything because I want the experience and I don't regret that year, but I physically worked very hard. And that is the thing. When I am trimming without a handler, I am physically working way harder. And now I've got too many horses to do that. So, yeah.
So, what are some of the things that you want people to know as a hoof care specialist?
Step one, will your horse stand quietly in the area where I'm going to be trimming them? Because sometimes that's not the area where you pick their feet all the time.
Hmm.
If you have a lovely shaded flat area for me to work in, I'm a happy camper. But a few times I've just had to observe that lovely area from afar and trim where your horses used to be because they don't know it. So
That
make
was today, everybody.
and that's okay. Cindy has not had time to show her. Cindy's got a great barn. I can't wait. We're going to be trimming in that barn. But that is something to think about of can your horse stand still without you having to intervene a bunch in the area where they're going to be trimmed? That's step one. If not, you got to spend some time there. You got to teach them to stand still and show them. You should be able to have that horse standing still without you having to be all up on their face with your hand right under the buckle, holding their head perfectly still. That's another thing. Horses get pissed if you hold them under the buckle for the length of a trim. And I'm looking around like I'm trying to do everything I can to keep this horse comfortable. Why are they pissed? And then I look up at you and I realize, oh, because you're holding them by the jaw.
Hmm.
That is a problem. So you should be able to hold them on a loose lead still. And then the next step is you should be able to run your hand down that leg and get it to come up without having to exert a bunch of physical effort. And I tell people you should be able to hold their feet up for 2 minutes. If I can hold a horse's foot up for 2 minutes, I'm a happy camper. And in a way that by holding the foot up, I don't mean traveling it around while it's moving or having to actually grip it. So if your farrier cannot two-hand their nippers and two-hand their rasp, you are not getting as good of a trim as you could be. I am far more effective and far more accurate when I can use two hands on my tools. But if I have a horse that as soon as I let go of the foot, it's back on the ground, so I can't put it on my knee, put it between my legs, put it in the stand. I will not hold your horse between my legs and hold on for dear life while they struggle. I know a woman farrier who prolapsed her uterus out of her doing that.
Oh my.
So that's not on my agenda to be doing. If your horse won't rest with it in there, it's not going in there. So that two-handed, can your horse be relaxed holding their foot up for 2 minutes, not having a conversation, having a fight, fidgeting. And then another one that people don't realize that horses often struggle with is to look at the balance of your horse's foot. I have to hold it so that I'm looking down the heels to the toe. So I have tipped that foot so that it's like facing, the sole of the foot is facing backwards. And the horse needs to be relaxed in that because if they're yanking their ankle around, then I am distorting the balance of that foot by pulling it out of position. So many horses think that I'm putting the foot back on the ground.
Ah.
And down it goes. And then it's a lot of energy for me. If your horse is doing that constantly, quite a few horses figure it out within the first couple times, and that's not a big deal. But if I have a horse that's just constantly using that as an excuse, I won't look at the balance as much as I get tired.
Right.
And you're not getting as balanced of a trim. So can they stand still? Can they hold that foot up relaxed and comfortable for 2 minutes? And can I manipulate that foot around a little bit and relax it and hold it without it getting just, oh, I'm done, down, are my big ones. And I really think as the owner, I want you to be a relaxed, grounded presence for your horse.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you worried about what I think about you. My job as a farrier, and I'm trying so hard to get better at this, and it's hard. If I agree to get under the horse, I agree to whatever happens once that happens. I have been around the block a few times and seen horses do some things. And that means that I have observed your horse and I accept the risk. Now, if your horse has kicked the head in of every farrier that's ever gotten under them, I'd like to have that information going in. That'd be good. But a lot of times people are like, this horse is brand new to me. We don't know anything. I am reading your animal. I am reading you. I am doing my very best. I accepted all those risks that Cindy discussed when I decided to do this as a career. As stupid as that looks like from the outside in, my dad's worried every day that I'm gonna end up dead. I'm having a blast and I accept the risk. And the day that I carry fear into a trim is the day that I need to step back and not trim that horse because it does nothing good for the horse for me to carry fear. And I don't want you to carry fear about what your horse is going to do. If you have a fear that your horse is going to do something, I want you to vocalize that to me. And at that point, I will decide either, okay, we're going to work through this or we're not. In terms of the trim is taking too long, my horse is being naughty, yada, yada, yada. It's my job to hold the boundaries. And my boundary is if I'm spending more time trying to get the foot into position to trim it than I am trimming it, now I'm training your horse. If you need some help with that, I'm happy to help you, but I'm going to charge you by the hour instead of by the trim. And I'm probably going to want to see your horse at least once a week to get that done. And I need to hold those boundaries. So if you're sitting there going, gosh, dang it, you dick, can you please just give her your foot? Because I'm getting really scared that she's judging me. You're bringing tension and ickiness into the energy. So if I fail to vocalize the fact that you should be paying me by the hour, that's my personal worth problems that I need to. Now, if you're worried about it, you can tip me. That's great. And probably if your horse is naughty on the first trim and you tip me well, I won't mention that hourly conversation. I'll just understand that we had an unspoken understanding and that's working fine. But after a hard trim happens, then there has to be a discussion of why was that hard trim? Cindy mentioned pain with Katniss. I never want to trim a horse that's on something that I don't know about. Please do not dorm your horse and not tell me. I'll probably notice, but good God, don't dorm your horse and not tell me. I'm always open to trying some butte, trying a pain med before the trim, before we start addressing behavior, because that is a cheap, easy, safe, massive information giver. If your horse completely changes, doesn't necessarily mean we're going to give them pain meds before every trim. Maybe we're going to try holding the foot in different positions or shortening up the trim cycle so that the horse doesn't have to stand as long, or having you maintain with a rasp so that I'm just coming in and doing little balance changes. There's a million different ways we can address that, but it gives us a ton of information. And if your horse is really quite naughty and needs dorm gel, I want to plan for that. I want to meet your horse undrugged and see what I can do with them before that. I want to understand how their brain works before they're on a drug. And I want them to meet me with a clear mind and feel my energy and allow me to kind of operate around them and make them feel safe first. I have a horse that I worked with probably 6 times. And you could tell he wanted so badly to let us get in there. He wanted to give us the moon because he was just a good boy, a gaited horse. Cindy and I were talking about the sensitivities of gaited horses. A gaited horse who was very abused by the Amish, who wants to please but is terrified. And we gave him, after I worked with him about 6 times, we did a dorm gel trim. And he was like, his energy was like, oh my gosh, I've been wanting to relax this much. I've been wanting to let you in. And these happy drugs are allowing it. And he was like such a good boy. And that's not how every dorm gel trim goes. That's how we want them to go, and we want to give them the opportunity. So it's all about communication and preparation. And something I get a lot is people say, well, he doesn't do that for me. So my question becomes, how long are you holding that foot up? How are you holding that foot up? How are you asking? Like, what are you doing differently that I'm doing? And sometimes it really just is that horse has some trauma around feet professionals. And at that point, we take it slow, we honor it, we work through it. It is my responsibility to never get mad at your horse for having past trauma that they're trying to work through with me. But I need you on board, helping, keeping them focused, helping holding that energy, keeping them relaxed, communicating to me, ooh, he just got really tense, this or that is happening, so that we're making progress. We're not just plowing through a trim, trying to get it over with all the time. Like, I've got no problem if your horse struggles at first, but I want to make progress and make it better for them and for you.
Ready to unlock true freedom with your horse? Join Unbridled Freedom, our private Facebook group for women on a spiritual journey in horsemanship. We don't fix our horses, we transform ourselves. This is your space to embrace challenges, celebrate victories, and deepen your bond with your horse. If you're ready to lead with wisdom, compassion, and inner peace, join us today. Let's dance with our horses as one. The link is in the show notes below. It's just about spending the time with your horse, like these guys. I normally will bring my horse out for the farrier, each one out. And I do have an indoor arena with a grooming area that I want to be able to bring each one into. But my entire herd, except for Rocky, has told me I'm not ready to leave my herd. And so luckily we have trees in all the pastures. So we went in and we're trimming, and we may do that. Maybe next time they'll all be ready. I'm going to start trying to take each one into the arena together. Maybe I'll walk more than, maybe I'll take 2 at a time. I'm not really sure how I'm going to start working it, but I'm working it between trims so that when Laura comes, everybody is set up for success. Because if our horses are happy, and we know how to communicate with them and they respect us as leaders, then we're keeping our farriers safe. There's one other thing that Laura mentioned about tipping your farrier. I was on, it was like, oh gosh, it's been several years now, 4 or 5 years ago. I happened to be on a horse group chat in Facebook, and the topic of tipping your farrier came up. And one horse professional got extremely rude and angry with the fact that we were talking about tipping our farriers. Horse trainers don't get tipped. Why would you tip your farrier? You're paying them to do a job. Why would you do that? And I'm like, because they're in the service industry. And that's how we let them know that they've done a good job and we appreciate them. And I personally want my team that works with my herd to be team players and team members. And I want them to know if I have chosen them to be on my team, the veterinarian, the farrier, the chiropractor, the body worker, the dental specialist. I have chosen them to be on my team because I respect them and I like the way they deal with my animals. I like their philosophy. I like their mannerism. I do not want to be fired, which I have fired clients. I have fired horse owners as my clients. We have fired clients in our veterinary practice. I want my team to feel appreciated. I want them to be professional. I want them to respect me and my animals. And I want them to enjoy coming to work with my herd. And I have always tipped my farrier. I always have paid my farrier at the time of service because they don't have time to be out billing. They don't get paid enough, quite honestly, to have a bookkeeper who's doing all that for them, nor should they have to. You don't go to a restaurant and say, bill me, to go to the grocery store and say, bill me. So why would you do it to your horse professional? So if they're doing a good job, tip them. If you can't afford to tip them every time, that is okay. Have your horse caught. Have your horse done on a regular basis. Be responsible for your horse at the time that your farrier is working on them. Give them a Christmas present.
I would way rather see someone stay on their schedule and never tip me
Yeah,
than have to come on and off their schedule because they feel like they have to tip me. But at the same
absolutely.
time, some of my favorite tip that I've ever received was a package of Longhorn ground beef that client had raised that cow themselves.
Yeah,
Like you
yeah,
don't, tip does not have to be cash. Tip can be
no.
a cold drink on a hot day, a hot drink on a cold day. It can be a snack. It can be spam with sushi is another one I received that I was driving out of there just stuffing that in my face. This is so yummy.
And that's back in the
Like,
day, neighbors brought each other pie.
yeah.
The people didn't pay you for your goods, they paid you with their goods. So if your farrier does a great job and you want to keep that farrier, I have had horses all my life and I can count the number of farriers I have had on two hands and still have fingers left over
Yeah.
because I develop a relationship with them and they love my horses. They love me. I love them. I recommend them, but not too much because you don't want them to get too busy. Because if you become a bad customer, then
Then you
they're
get
gonna,
replaced as they get busy. Yes.
and I'm teasing there. But I mean, these guys are professionals and they work freaking hard on their bodies and they take their lives in their hands. So please, please help your horses to be the best citizens they can be for the farrier. I take it into consideration all the time. And you know what? I do worry about being judged when my horses are being naughty.
Mhm.
I have to take a really deep breath and go, behavior is a form of
Yeah.
communication. Am I stressing my horse out? Am I here or am I worried about what I'm going to do when we're done?
Oh.
So I want my horses to behave.
You do, but I'm also like, okay, so I'm eating breakfast, and Cindy comes out, and she says, actually, I need you to stop eating breakfast because we've got a special thing happening today. And then she comes over and she wants me to stand on one leg and hold still while somebody messes with my toes. And if I'm a little bit upset about the fact that I can still see my breakfast, but I'm not eating my breakfast and I'm not standing perfectly still. So me as the farrier, I'm like, they don't have to be 100% perfect all the time. It's a weird ask. Come stand up still with one foot up in the air and let me do funny things too.
And oh, by the way, your herd
Like
members are like right
right
there
there,
eating
just
all the
munching away,
breakfast.
eating
Eating
away.
all the
Yeah.
breakfast. So
And so
Rocky was a little
like
naughty today, my gypsy van.
I've never met a gypsy vanner that didn't test me. I was unfazed. And is that an excuse for your horse to be horrible every single time? No.
No.
But it's also like behavior is communication. There's a reason that behavior is happening. I don't need the other human in the situation getting all up in arms about it.
And you know what, guys? I'm going to let you in on a little tip of the trades. A farrier, a veterinarian, and a horse trainer, and a horsemanship mentor. We all know if it's a bad day or you're lying
Yes, we do.
and your horse is like this all the time.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Yes.
So if you're not putting in the time and you're blaming the horse, the only person you're fooling is yourself
Yeah.
because we know damn well the difference.
And just ask for some help. And the same thing about the feet. If you've got questions while I'm trimming, my gosh, ask them.
Yep.
I love educating people. Like, educate yourself, hone your eyes, and ask for help. We are super happy to help. A lot of times, I probably judge people thinking that they don't work with their horse's feet, when in reality, they're scared or they don't know what to do.
Mhm.
And I need to do a better job of asking some prodding questions about that
Yep.
so I can help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope this was helpful because we need our farriers. Chief needs a farrier. All our horses need a hoof care specialist, and they're good ones and they're bad ones. And the bad ones are a dime a dozen, and the good ones are diamonds in the rough. So when you find a good one, nurture the relationship.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions about the topics covered in this episode, send us a message on our Facebook page, Holistic Horsemanship and Husbandry, and we will answer your question in a post on our page. You will be anonymous. We'll just take the question and provide our input, and we want to do it on the post so that we can all learn and grow together, because nobody knows everything. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. We want to remind you that we'll be here every second and fourth Tuesday of the month, following the golden rule. Have a plan, but always be willing to be flexible. Don't forget to connect with us using the links in the show notes below.
If you learned something new today, had an aha, or walked away with a valuable nugget, you can say thanks by leaving us a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening on.